CW Iowa Live.
Good morning, everybody. It's 8:21. Welcome back to the program. Lou, along with Dan Cummins. He's a headliner at the Funny Bone. Jackie is making her way to the Habitat for Humanity house as it's Founders Day here at Nexstar. So she's going to go out there and give you a first-hand look as to what is going on out there. We're going to be joining her after the show is over today, too, as everybody in the building is going to be involved in this project, Dan. This is kind of a cool thing the company president has enacted, and everybody company-wide is doing something.
That's cool.
This day, so it's kind of cool. Of course, how they had to pick the day, it's going to be upper 90s and heat index well over 100 degrees.
Right.
But we're going to be out there. It'll be fun. To see the end result is what it's all about.
Yeah, and the joy that brings.
No
these
question
projects.
about it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Sounds like the family is going to be there, putting some sweat equity into it, and they're going to be putting a lot of sweat equity into this as well. But we were talking a little bit ago when Dan first joined us about the what do you call them? Flatters.
Yeah, it's like the flat
and
Earthers.
Explain what that is.
Well, the Flat Earth movement is just there's a debate. There are people. There's two sides. There's people who believe the Earth is round, people who believe the Earth is flat.
And we heard about this years ago when you first start getting into science, where back in the ages, people thought if you went too far, you'd fall off.
Oh, right. And I thought the kind of debate or whatever would have ended when Magellan's crew made it back around. That was 500 years ago. But apparently, there's still a lot of people who. It amazes me that there are people who will listen to conspiracy theorists today, convince them that the Earth is flat while listening to them on satellite radio. Like the sad irony of that. It's technology made possible by a sphere.
Think about that, yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's all fake. It's all fake.
Now, how did you first get alerted to this new trend that was going on?
Well, I do a podcast called Time Suck that is just kind of a deep dive on one subject a week. And so it can be a historical figure. It's anybody from like Marilyn Monroe to Joseph Stalin. It can be sometimes people. It's all listener suggestions. Sometimes they will send in like Golden State Killer or something. Like a darker.
Yeah.
And then we explore the life there of that person and what they did. But sometimes it can be like Flat Earth was a topic. Just what's that about? Why do people believe in it? And so you get in and you explore it. And then I try to present it in a pretty irreverent way to kind of hold people's attention. And it's entertaining.
And if people want to follow along on this one...
Yeah, they can find it anywhere. Just Time Suck. Now, which is nice, if you just Google just the Time Suck, even if you don't spell it right, it goes right to it.
Okay.
So it's,
But you have like Time Suck Podcast.
Yeah, timesuckpodcast.com. I got an app. Time Suck app. It's on Google, Apple, all that stuff.
This just exploded for you, hasn't it?
It's been pretty cool. Yeah, we're
how long
hiring
did you
people
start
now,
this?
And, like a little less than 2 years ago, and now it started off just in my kitchen, just doing it by myself, and now it's become like a little company. And we're starting to do some live podcasts, and unfortunately not doing one here this weekend, but doing those going forward in some other places. And
how long of a podcast is it?
It's like it's under 2 hours, but an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Is that long?
Yeah, and it's because I dig through a lot of information, but I don't have a good attention span, but I like to learn new things. So it's pretty there's silly jokes built in. It's pretty irreverent because that's what. If I'll zone out, if it was like a lecture, I wouldn't be able to pay attention if it was me. So I try to make it more engaging and sillier, but the same information, so it kind of sticks in your head.
Do you talk to other people about during this podcast, or is it all you talking about it?
Just me.
You're a solo run.
I have some research helpers, a lot of students around the country, and we put together a script every week. And then I go in a little studio we built for the show now and just
oh my goodness.
Read the script and do my best to make it fun and engaging. And yeah, it's pretty fun.
And how often do you update the podcast?
Every Monday.
Every Monday?
Every Monday. It's been some Fridays. And then we have like a little side podcast about the podcast. It's like
no way.
It's like a subscription thing. And then those people are the space lizards.
Because that's a whole nother category.
That's a whole nother conspiracy. That is the craziest one I've found.
Okay, so you have the flatters.
Right.
Okay, they think the Earth is still flat.
Right.
Okay, and then what's the lizard people?
The lizard people it's so unbelievable. It's how crazy it is. It is. There's people. David Icke is the big proponent, but there are people who fill convention centers who believe that the Anunnaki, this ancient race of extraterrestrial lizard people, came to Earth. And because we have monoatomic gold, which is a substance that does not show up on any scientific websites. Of
course not.
Shows up in a lot of crystally websites, I like to call them. Where the person probably has a lot of quartz around their home, feeding their vibes.
I can hear it.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of pseudoscience. And they believe that they mated with ancient humans to form a royal bloodline. And now, to manipulate us. Because I guess if you're part lizard, then you're under their control more. It is kings, queens. Trump is the only president recently that's not a lizard, according to them.
See the things you learn on this program when the headliners from the Funny Bone come in. Dan is going to be he's going to be sticking around with us, and we'll take care of a little bit of business here, get you caught up on sports and other news items, and we'll be back in just about 10 minutes.